Hey y'all, I'm Todd Bailey.
What's up? It's Arie Lombardozzi.
And this is fucking Brewtal.
Get in the pit, stock up the fridge, and listen. We're here to cover the latest in metal news and craft beer. A match made in hell.
If it makes you bang your head, then we want to hear it. If it tickles your taste buds, share those suds.
Turn it up to 11.
Crack open that beer.
It's about to get brutal.
What's good there, Hopwolves? It's your boys, Todd, Arie, back with episode 77 of Brewtal Podcast. Let's fucking get it. Always a favorite time of the week whenever we can record, drink some beers, have some hangs. It's going to be a good ass time, like always. I'll just say, like, right off the bat, like, it's been a pretty tough mental week for me personally. We won't get too much into that, but what about yourself there, sir? I know you're kind of like in a similar boat, and I bring this up mainly because like May is mental health awareness, which really all months should be mental health awareness, but specifically, it's good to talk about.
Yes, sir, man. No, I'm actually glad you bring that up. I often forget what these months are for because they get a little convoluted with how many months are for which thing. But
yeah.
It is always good to talk about mental health, and I feel like more people are talking about mental health, which is a good thing. Yeah, just very busy with work, which kind of gets me down sometimes just because it's tedious work editing. And you get kind of cooped up being in the same area for hours on end. But glad it's Friday, so that's kind of behind me. It's a good way to look at it. And today I'm going to be shopping for a Mother's Day gift, so that's kind of exciting, giving to another person, especially my mom. So shout out, Tina. I love you.
Yeah, Tina. Love you too.
So we're going to do that. I actually forgot too that on Saturday, we're going to go to a Perfect Cat Lounge, PURR, for those wondering why it's called that. So we're going to look at some kitties. We're kind of interested in getting Charlie another member of the family here. So we'll see what happens. We follow them on Instagram, so we've been kind of peeking in to see which cats they have. We booked a 30-minute session, so hopefully we connect with one, but we'll see what happens. After that, of course, Sunday's Mother's Day, so I'll make sure to give my mom a call, maybe play a metal song for her in her honor.
Probably a Whitechapel song like we discussed last week.
Yeah. Other than that, dude, like you had mentioned, the weeks get tough, especially when it involves work, but always a silver lining, I guess. I try to make the week at the end of the week.
Absolutely. And that's all you really can do. But being able to pull yourself out of like funks is really, really important. Mm-hmm. There was a really great article on, I think it was Metal Injection that I read the other day. We'll link it in the show notes if I can remember exactly where it was from, but it was about the late, great Trevor Strnad. Sorry. Forgive me, Papa Trev. Trev, wow, I am all over the place. I did this the other day too. Anyway, Papa Trev, it's been about a year, a little over at this point, since we lost that legend of the Black Dahlia Murder. But it was a really cool like article talking about mental health and struggles and just checking in on loved ones and whatnot like that, because you never know what someone's going through. So that's really the takeaways is just like, if you are having a hard time, and as hard as it is to talk about, hopefully you do have someone that you can confide in and pull you out of that darkness, because it's sometimes you just can't escape it. So we're here for you on Brewtal. Always big advocates of mental health. But with that being said, you got to do things that you really love and enjoy too. That's very important, even when it's hard. I got to see the Evil Dead Rise last night with my wife, and I've been looking forward to that since it came out. I'm wearing my Evil Dead shirt. I have an Evil Dead tattoo. One of my favorite franchises, and this one didn't disappoint. It's like lower on the totem pole as far as the franchise goes, and that's really saying something, because this whole franchise cannot fucking miss. The vibe is more like the remake in 2013, which is my personal favorite. I know that's like a controversial pick, but I absolutely love what they did with that one. But I would put Evil Dead Rise like right above Army of Darkness at the bottom. That one's like my least favorite out of everything. But again, I still love that film. So if it's like the lesser of everything, but it's still worth the watch. Gory as hell. Just a really like, it's a good time for sure. And yeah, definitely recommend checking out if you're a fan of the franchise. I know it's kind of tough, especially with the diehards of the OGs, but if you like the remake, you'll like this one, is really the takeaway. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And going to celebrate Mother's Day with my mother-in-law tomorrow. We're taking her out for brunch. She doesn't know that, but you guys do.
Secrets.
Secrets. Got my mom some stuff for whenever I won't be able to get back home to her for at least like another month or so. So sending her like a little care package. But before we move into the beer breakdowns, let's cheers to all the metal moms out there. Thank you for what you do and for putting up with everyone and us blaring shit. And I mean, you know, I hope that you're blaring shit too. You should. I know you are.
No,
so thank you. Happy Mother's Day to all the Hopwolf mothers out there, all the metal motherfuckers out there. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Same here, man. I'm just gonna start my beer review now.
Yeah,
highly recommend. Dude, this literally tastes. This tastes like drinking a peach out of a can. Like, wow.
Fuck yeah.
I have the PêCHE. I want to say it's P with a little E with an accent, CHE from Celis Brewery. They're here in Austin, Texas. This is coming at 4.9 ABV. It's a Belgian style fruit beer. I want to drink it again, so I'm going to do another sip. It's brewed with real peach juice. Oh my God, I love this so much.
Hell yeah.
The can, I'm going to hold it up for y'all here. I'm going to make sure I actually got it in frame here, so I'm going to switch screens. The can is pretty standard for them. They kind of model each can very similar to each other, to where it has like their crest and then usually like a pitcher in the center. This one's got like, it's like an old timey photo of people brewing beer, probably back in the home country. And I say home country because it's kind of cool with this. It is, per their Facebook, I found this. It is one of Pierre Celis's original recipes brought back to life. And Pierre Celis is actually known as the father of wit beer. Christine Celis. Cool. Yeah. Christine Celis is the owner. She's second generation. I've actually met her before. We did a story about them and love the brewery, but it's cool that like she has this bloodline of like a very famous guy within craft beer. So that's a cool little fun fact. Hold the can up again. It actually has like colors of like yellow, pinks, and red. What you would expect from a peach. There's actually a little peach right here down there near the name. Yeah, it's very pleasing to the eye. I actually do like the artwork that they put on here. Well, I guess the graphic design of the can as a whole is very appealing. It's kind of like updated, new, but also gives you like that old feeling, which I think is a nice little ode to her family's history. I could describe the beer, but it is literally like biting a peach. Like I'm very impressed with this beer. I'm going to get one more off the palate just to be selfish. Not only does it taste exactly like the peach juice, it's just very refreshing. At 4.9, very drinkable. You don't taste any bitterness. I don't. It's not really there at all on the front end or the back end. I could down this so fast, Arie.
Oh yeah, I bet, dude. Peach is such a good flavor too. Like as long as you like the flavor of peach.
It is true. Yeah, some people. That's another aspect too. It's actually not too sweet, which I'm super psyched about because when it gets too sweet, you kind of lose me. But
yeah,
not sweet at all. Super drinkable. I give this, must buy. Like I actually want to get a 6-pack of this now. And I looked on their website. I don't know if it's a seasonal. It wasn't listed under their seasonals, but it is on tap right now. So if you're hearing this, you live in Austin, go to the brewery. It's on tap right now. get yourself a glass or get a 6-pack probably from the brewery itself.
Get a glass and a 6-pack.
Yeah, do both for sure.
Just treat yourself. You know what I mean? Treat yourself.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great, dude. Big fan of peach. And yeah, that sounds phenomenal. If it's easy drinking, and that's really cool, the story behind like the brewery and everything. I know you've brought on Celis before, so that sounds like a all in all like just good stuff going on with Celis Brewery.
Yes, sir.
So to segue into your boys' beer over here, I knew immediately, like as soon as I walked into the distributor, looked into the case and saw that they had this beer, which I'm going to hold up now for everyone watching, and for everyone listening, I will describe it. Heady Topper from the Alchemist. And this is one of those beers that, at least like back in the day, you had to know someone up in, it's from Vermont, Stowe, Vermont specifically, in order to get this beer. It's a highly regarded beer, like one of the best. So, and I've had it once. It's been a long time. So I was super stoked to get it. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I've been sipping on it for the last few minutes, just as good as I remember it being. Already recommended it. I knew that going in though, but let's get into it a little bit more. So Heady Topper is 8% ABV. I actually didn't look up the IBUs, so that's my bad. But it is bitter, but it's not that bitter, which I like. It's an American double IPA, and to go with the can, at least the cans that I've seen from the Alchemist all look the same, but this one, I really like what they do, and I'm going to hold it up closer for everyone to see it and for me to describe. But basically, it's monochromatic as far as the color palette goes, so it's all black, it like various shades of black and gray. But the negative space that they use for it is the silver of the can, which I really love. I love the concept of playing with negative space like that. The main focal point is there's a gentleman drinking, which can only be presumed as Heady Topper, while getting his mind fucking blown by the juices of the beer. So like up top here, I don't know if you can really see it, but it's like a bunch of hops and smoke coming out of the back of this dude's head.
I love that. I actually thought it was just so like a tree in the background, but I love that it's actually his head exploding with hops.
Yeah, dude, it's so fucking good and pretty brutal. Like it's tastefully brutal. But like the dude also, I don't know if you can kind of see, but like he's got like a bow tie and he almost looks like a soda jerk type of deal. So he's looking pretty dapper while enjoying said beer. So that's really cool. And then, yeah, the rest is like, it's got some really cool, like kind of trippy font on it, like especially for the Alchemist down at the bottom, like kind of warped and whatnot. So it's really cool. All in all, we all know how much of a fucking slut I am for presentation. It's 10 out of 10 right there. There's actually a lot on this can as far as like what they're talking about. So per the can, this is the first part. It says Heady Topper is an American double IPA. This beer is not intended to be the biggest or most bitter. It is meant to give you wave after wave of hoppy goodness on your palate. Tremendous amounts of American hops will creep up on you and leave you with a dense hoppy finish in your mouth. So drinkable, it's scary. That's true. It is actually really scary, especially at 8%, dude. I actually could like straight up chug this beer. No, I'm terrible at chugging, but like I could do it, and be ready for another one immediately after. So a little bit further down on the can, it says, and this is coming from John Kimmich, who is one of the co-owners and the brewer of Heady Topper and some of the other beers. It's him and his wife, I believe, are the owners of the Alchemist. But this is his words. It says, sometimes I wish I could crawl right into the can. Freshness and control have always been my main concern when it comes to our beer. We are committed to providing you with an unfiltered and unpasteurized hop experience. They recommend that you drink it from the can, actually, which you don't really hear about too much.
That's true. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And they recommend that you drink it from the can, quite simply to ensure a delightful hop experience. The act of pouring it into a glass smells nice, but it releases the essential hop aromas that we have worked so hard to retain. Not something that you really think about, but true. If you must pour it into a glass, you may find that some of the hop resins have settled to the bottom. Leave them in the can while pouring. This beer is perishable and at its best, and it is at its best when it's young, fresh, and hazy. Keep it cold, but not ice cold. Drink this beer immediately. We are always making more. So
I love that.
The whole thing, dude. Awesome. Fuck yeah. So I will get one on the palate, but everything that they just described is basically what I would say anyway. So let's get one. Cheers, Hopwolves.
Yeah, because you already love it. Just let me know how the mouth experience is, like how it kind of flows through.
It's dude, it's so like juicy and dank. Like when you can smell the hops as soon as you crack open that beer, dude, and you can taste it. Like the flavor kind of comes and goes pretty fast, but it does stick a little bit more on the back end, at least like the bitterness from the hops, which is really cool. But the mouthfeel is great. I'd say it's like about a medium body, but like they said, they're not trying to make it like the most bitter or like the biggest beer. So like 8%, while high, is a good ABV to have. And everything is just kind of like in the middle. Like you are getting a lot of that crazy hop flavor, which is awesome. And it does stick around, but it's not like, because sometimes when you have, especially like double IPAs that are more like, I mean, this is like an East Coast IPA by definition, just because of where it's brewed, but it's not crushing your palate. Like a lot of the times a double IPA of this sort would. So it's like you're kind of like chewing on it, like something like really like dank, but no, dude, it's so smooth. It is dangerous. Like they said, so drinkable, it's scary. I got a 4-pack of this, and I wish I could have gotten a whole fucking case. Absolutely recommend. Love this beer. Very happy to have it within purchasing range now. Fuck, dude. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, man. Yeah, I wish I had one of those cans here right now. I might have to go looking for that. I wonder if it is down here.
It might be. Like I said, I'd never seen it until today, other than like at a beer share or like someone brought it from Vermont.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah,
good.
There's a few convenience stores down here that actually go out of their way to get stuff from out of states. Because that's where I found Tech Nine's one beer, the pineapple.
The Caribou.
Yeah. I found that at a gas station. Yeah. Sunrise Mini Mart. If you're not familiar, if you're from Austin and listening, go check them out. Yeah, there's a few of those around, and then there's another one that I know of that sells which you wouldn't expect here in Austin as far as craft beer. So I'm going to keep my eyes out for that bad boy. But let's keep it moving. We are going to get into our metal headlines, and you could say this is controversial, but we are on the side of the bands in this story. We are talking about the band Terror. This is per Loudwire, according to Lambgoat. They cited Lambgoat, but the article is Loudwire. They said the Fort Worth, Texas music venue, the Ridgela Theater. Remember that name, because don't go there.
Don't go there.
They
Fuck
reportedly said, yeah, seriously, fuck that venue. They said it was banning the band Terror and maybe all hardcore music after a viral video emerged this week showing a security guard at the venue pushing a concert goer and grabbing the mic to say, "I don't think so," with an attitude. This was during Terror's performance. They were playing on May 5th, and this happened. The video's online. You can find it pretty easily. The venue, to get both sides, reportedly said in a statement, Ridgela Theater complex has zero tolerance for stage diving, kicking, punching, and windmilling. The people in the crowd were attempting to jump the barricades to get on stage. Only one ejection for kicking a minor. Which begs the question, what did you think was going to happen at this show, first of all? And second,
right,
there are so many other venues, metal bands that are listening. Any member of a metal band, do not go to this theater. Just stop giving them business. They probably do merch cuts too, so fuck them. I don't know if that's true, but
no, they definitely do.
They
we have
like
nothing to back that up.
But I don't know. From what I've seen online, it seems like bands know that this place has a history. And I'm sure not all bands are in control of who is booking them where, but if you're a promoter, if you're the agent of the band, or however you're involved, record label, stop taking bands to this theater.
But like, let's just take a minute to talk about the fact that like Terror has got to be, dude. I feel like 40 is like a lot, like too much, but like they're one of like the most iconic hardcore bands, and like to not expect that, like so this kind of harkens back to like the whole, like we had talked about just like crowd killing and just the state of the scene, like when you go to a show.
Yeah.
So the security like should already know what to expect. And like you see flyers and posters and shit like that all the time now to be like, no crowd surfing, no moshing, like no blah, 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 blah. And I honestly just feel like it's a formality to cover their ass, which is fine.
Yeah. Insurance.
But like,
yeah.
Yeah. And that makes sense. But like when push comes to shove, literally, like what are you going to do? You're going to tell the band like just to stop fucking playing. And like, I don't know. It always comes back to like being able to read the room and like know what you're getting into, because like this type of like moshing, crowd killing, whatever it may be, whether like you agree with it or not, like it's part of the scene and that's not going anywhere. And what's everyone's supposed to fucking sit there with like their dick in their hands? Just like, no.
That's
and
what they want. Yeah.
That's what they want. But like, dude, no one's going to fucking want that. Like, dude, I can go to like a rap or a hip hop concert and there's moshing there too. So like, how far does this expand now? You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just like, what an asinine thing to say. And then on top of that, the fucking dude from the Ridgela called Black Dahlia Murder, like Black Dahlia or some shit. Like it was something really dumb. And they're like metal and hardcore like can't coincide with each other because like the fan base is different. And like it's not different. No. Like everyone kind of does the same thing. Like there's varying degrees of it. But like, I don't know. Like what a dumb fucking thing. There's no like the security should not have been like surprised about that.
It says something when literally no other venue is like publicly talking about this. And how many venues play these shows? There's even a goddamn show at a goddamn Denny's.
Yeah. And did anyone be like, I don't think so?
Exactly. No. So it says something. It's like, okay, if the venue doesn't like this, stop booking metal bands, stop booking hardcore bands. And then also, like I've been saying earlier, just don't go there. Don't give them the time of day or the business if they're going to act like this. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. And
no. And maybe screen your fucking security people too. Like you shouldn't have someone with that type of attitude.
Yeah.
Working an event that like they're there to like help you be safe essentially. So like, I don't think so. And like taking that, like that mic from the band that's performing and like, what are you going to say? Like someone's crowd surfing. Like, no, I don't think so. And like, let them drop. Nah, dude, like you were worried about a lawsuit before. Now you got one.
Yeah, that's all I can say. Just stop giving this place business if they're not going to accept the fact of what the music is and what it comes with. Like you should just know. And then for the bands, go somewhere else because there are so many other places to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good note to end on. And I'm already getting fired up from this.
I know. I have like 1/3 of my beer left just because I'm charged up now. Just because like I wish I could have took the mic from that dude and been like, actually, yes, like let's go. Crowd surf to the front, jump off the stage. Let's fucking go.
Dude, how many times have we heard like make the security work for their fucking paychecks? Like they're fucking there for a reason, and like it might not be favorable, but like it's not going to not happen.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, we'll keep this moving because we have exciting things to talk about. And that is what has dropped today. Again, we're recording on May 12th. Equally as great of a release day as last week. This year is shaping up to be a great one overall. just as equal to 2022, which had some fucking bangers. This is good, if not better. Let's talk about these lists.
Yeah, dude, this has been nothing but a stellar year. Had to get that in there. And we're not even halfway through yet. So let's get into the albums. This one in particular, there's a lot of heavy hitters that we've both been looking forward to for a while now. We're starting it off with Artificial Sun and The Giant's Collapse. Next up, we have Avosian, I hope this is right, with Daemonia Obscura. Then we have The Goats, Cattle Decapitation with Terracite. That one's finally dropping. Defect with the Beautiful Lie EP. Devil Driver with Dealing with Demons Volume 2. Fighting the Phoenix with the Blood Choke EP. Human Abomination with Dismal Foreshadowing. Oh, I like that. Left to Suffer with Feral. Morning Again with their Borrowed Time EP. Never Ending Game with Outcry. Omnirod with the Immensal Rise. Origin Orias with their self-titled EP. Should go on tour with Born of Osiris.
Let's go.
Soulkeeper with Holy Design. Speaking in Tongues with their Defy EP. Other Goats. The Acacia Strain with Failure Will Follow, Step Into the Light. So 2 albums that dropped today. The Amni Affliction with Not Without My Ghosts. Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Act Like You Don't Know. Unvow with a Vile Exodus EP. And then to end it on a high note, we have Velamaya with their newest one, Mother, and the M is in was it brackets there?
Yeah. Hey, so, just in time for Mother's Day. I just realized that.
Yeah, nice. I wonder if that was planned. It has to be.
Yeah,
it has to be. And I also want to know more about because they have they had their Matriarch album. I want to know where that comes into play. I like it, and I'm very excited. Velamaya does not disappoint. But speaking of things that don't disappoint, what's your favorite for the day? And what are some of the highlights that have been just giving you that satisfaction for this release day?
So I would say I've at least listened to a song off of each of these, but not all the albums I've listened to in totality.
Nice verbiage, dude. God
I know, right? Artificial Sun is a little band out of Greece. I absolutely fell in love with The Giant's Collapse. The way I described it to you was that 2000s metalcore mixed with a vocalist who sounds like the lead on Crossbreed, if you remember that band, / a little Marilyn Manson-ish. Just vocally, just his the way he sounds, but it is perfect for me, and I fell in love with it. So that was a highlight. My favorite, though, I gotta say, is Cattle Decapitation. I'm actually gonna look it up on my phone. There is a song in particular I really liked that I want to give a shout out to. Let me find it here. The Storm Upstairs. If you're gonna listen to one song, listen to that one. I really love a line from that. I forget what it was, but yeah, I love the whole message of just it's kind of like the end of the world, but almost like nature's taking back over with these bugs or whatever that's on the album cover. But that was
from A Bug's Life.
That's right. Of course, the Acacia Strain. I listened to both albums. I saw some people complaining oh, Acacia Strain sounds the same. I was like, I love the fact that they sound the same. It's the same reason why I love that Unearth sounds the same. You can do that. You don't have to be Parkway Drive.
Please don't be Parkway Drive.
Yeah. So I love that they did that. And if you don't like their sound, then go listen to the other album that they dropped. It's a Doom album.
Yeah.
And that one's fantastic. I love that they got the Primitive Man, Full of Hell as guest features. Also of note, she's not listed, which is a crime. Iris.exe is on one of the tracks and gives a hauntingly beautiful female voice to one of the tracks. I think it's Pillar of Salt. Go check that out. It is fantastic. They're all great. They're all great in my opinion. And then last but not least, a standout was Never Ending Game. I've been getting a lot more into hardcore. I actually thank you, Arie. You've been kind of like hitting me with these bands. I've been getting into the scene itself a little bit more. So that's a highlight for me. They're from Detroit. So shout out Detroit Rock City. Other than that, I have to shout out Left to Suffer. Like Taylor Barber is such a positive force in the scene. I love you. I love what your band is doing. And this is a defining moment for them. The album is solid as can be. Other than that, Soulkeeper, man. Soulkeeper makes me think of Frontier a little bit. So don't sleep on that band. But enough about what I like. What is piquing your interest?
So this will go for both the albums and the CBB. I haven't had a chance to listen to much today, unfortunately. But earlier in the week, Todd shot this over to me. The Thus Spoke Zarathustra. I hope I'm saying that right. Their album, which was Act Like You Don't Know. He sent that over earlier in the week, and it's been on repeat, dude. And the way you described it, it was like 2000, like mid to late 2000s, like MySpace deathcore.
Yeah.
And as hesitant and like, I didn't want to accept like that resurgence just because like, well, we've already kind of done that, like with Tactosa and Tracheotomy and stuff like that. Dude, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I take back whatever I said before. What an idiot. This is it, dude. The one track that you said had like some Despised Icon vibes to it.
Yeah, like the whistle breeze in it.
Yeah. Awesome. But it also made me think of like a Muir in there.
Yeah.
And As Blood Runs Black.
I'm going to bring up a Muir for the CBB, but you'll see why. But keep talking.
Okay, interesting. I'm peaked. Yeah, and also shout out to the album cover, because like as soon as Todd sent that to me, I'm like, dude, this shit, it's a woman. You can't really see it that well, but it's a woman cutting off her lips with scissors, and it's from this short called Cutting Moments, which is a fucking brutal short. It's like 20 minutes, I think. But it's all about like just basically like domestications of females and like not living up to like male expectations. So it's like it's super fucked in that sense. Dude, I can't even like recommend the short, but I was like, yes, like you're fucking, you've got that imagery on there. You got like the sound. I love it. So that's my pick for the day. But the other ones that are really getting me, and I said, giving me that tingling sensation in my balls that isn't testicular cancer, would be, of course, the Acacia Strain, Left to Suffer, Cattle Decap, and Veil of Maya. So like a lot of the ones I already knew and have had a history with, I'm very excited for. But Todd, I mentioned like the Soulkeeper one. I have been excited to check that one out. And the Artificial Sun, I listened to a couple tracks. That one was a lot of fun too. A lot of like nostalgia feels there. So like all in all, dude, awesome. Another super solid week for releases album wise and also single wise for the Certified Brutal Bangers, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
Would you like to take it away before, please?
I would. I do want to recommend to you the Fighting the Phoenix EP, just because Dan Tucker is on the first track.
Yeah. The beans, homie, dude. I love Dan Tucker. I love that that's a thing on, was it Chaos and Carnage this year?
I wrote on one of their posts, I commented, I was like, when are we getting the Beans beanie? Like, make it happen. Like, make it happen. It needs to happen.
What a wholesome, I love when bands do shit like that, especially like tech death and like super like intense subject matter, especially with like Crown Magnetar's album that's coming out. Like I know Dan Tucker was like in a really bad spot. So just seeing him just talking about beans and like bringing that on, yes,
let's go.
That's what I'm talking about.
I love to see it. But to move on, we have the Certified Brutal Bangers. We need to let y'all know about this shit. The lists are out there. Go listen to our playlist. We do it every week. We're starting off,
and we love it.
We do love it. This I look forward to every week. We're starting off with the band This Is Me Breathing. This actually might be my favorite track from them so far. It's called Persona. I think they've released 3 tracks so far, which might be coming from an album or EP. I'm not unsure of that right now, but go check it out. After that, this is a fun one, especially the audio clip that starts it off. Graveyard Rats from Tarantula, Florida. I love the band name. They've been churning it. Whoever's involved with that band, he's in like 3 other projects at this point. He is a busy person, and where does he find the time? Who knows? After that, we have the song Breaking Point from the band Depths of Baciu, which I think that's how you say it. It's spelled Baciu. This is featuring Dan Watson of Meyer Lore, which is a dope feature to get.
Always.
After that, we have the band Assemble the Chariots, and I swear they're doing songs about Star Wars. Like, I think, and I don't understand it because the band name is Assemble the Chariots, which has nothing to do with Star Wars, but
different type of chariot.
That's right. The song is called Galactic Order, so do with what you will with that, but it's a great track. After that, we have the band Creeping Death. You might know them. They just released another single called The Common Breed. After that, we have The Adversary with their song Flames for Eternity. And this is featuring Zachary Howard of Ocean of Illusions. We've really come to like that band here in Brewtal. They're the ones that did that New Jersey Devils concert outside the ice rink, which was dope.
So good.
After that, Who Am I? That's the song title. Although, Who am I? This is coming from the band Imperial Sin. I actually had a different song because they released a song on the 10th, but this one released on the 11th. So I didn't know what to pick. So I just picked the newest one. But they're churning out some good metal. So go check them out. After them, we have Honor Killing from the band Errors of Humanity. Such a great intro track or intro audio clip before the song starts for this one too. You're going to love it, Arie, if you haven't listened to it yet.
I haven't, so I'm very excited to check that out. I've seen it like making its rounds on like some of the forums and shit. So I know it's already good, and of course your opinion matters over anyone else's. So
that's right.
Gotta check that out.
This next one, you alerted me to the fact that these guys are back. Underneath the Gun is the band. They are back, and their track is As Within, So Without. After them, Humanity's Last Breath is back with a new one, Labyrinthian. Yeah. This one is solid as fuck. Go listen to it. If you love Fall, if you love that sound.
Love you, Buster.
Yes. Next up, we have Join Me in Armageddon, and this is from Thy Art Is Murder. They are independent now, which is dope, and they have their album coming out in September, I think, Godlike.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, so if you're a fan of Thy Art, get ready, baby. Next up, we have the band Urne, URNE. I love that it's in all caps. Urne. Their track.
I'm sorry. All I could think about was the Burn from Throwdown.
Oh my god!
And they just forgot like the B and added an E. Please continue.
Yes, that song is amazing. I love saying Burn from that song. It makes me think of Randy Blythe too from Ash as the Palaces Burn. The way he says burn, it's very similar. But their song, Urne's song, is Becoming the Ocean. It is a stellar track. Go check it out. Stealing Arie's word now. This next one though might take the cake for song title because Raped, Strangled, Sodomized, Dead from the band Vomitory. I like to believe it just started off as raped, and then they're like, let's add something else to it. And then they put strangled, and they're like, nah, let's give it a little bit more oomph to it. And so they just kept adding more things. But it's a solid track. Go check them out. Jokes aside. Next up, we have Pupil Slicer. This is another single from their upcoming album. This one's called Momentary Actuality. Very solid, pretty much on par with the last 2 singles. Showing a little bit of creativity there, but just that pounding sound from Pupil. After them, we have the song Rot, and it's with the O with the line through it. And this is For Fear Itself. I actually forgot how heavy this band is, so pleasantly surprised. After them, we have the song Bitter from the band TRAITORS. So this is where, when I mentioned Amir a little bit before, this makes me think of Amir a little bit, just on the sound wise.
That's true. That's true.
Even a little bit of Acacia Strain thrown in there. I know that might cause some controversy because those two bands were at heads with each other back in the day. But I kind of like that they're leaning a little bit more into that sound coming from these guys. Next up, though, we have Boundaries with Armageddon. I don't know if this is just like another B-side track or if they're leading up to a new album with these singles, but this one's solid, man. I'm actually going to say this is my favorite of the day. I've been really getting into Boundaries lately, so this is a great track from them. After them, we have Chamber with their song Devoured, and this is featuring a Matt Honeycutt of Kubla Khan, Texas.
Let's go.
He's such a great feature.
Yeah.
After that, we have Sleep, a Cicada Wouldn't Envy from the band Wounded Touch. I love what this band is doing. I once described their vocalist as like tire screeches on pavement, and I love that he can get that high register, but they do, it kind of harkens back a little bit to like early metalcore. They have like those elements in there. Like they even did like a Deftones cover of my Own Summer, which is awesome that they did that.
Great track.
Last but not least, I made this long-winded. I'm so sorry, guys, but we could not leave them off this playlist. We're talking about Make Them Suffer, which with one of their best singles thus far from this album coming up, Ghost of Me, dude. I love this new keyboardist they got. I think she's doing some of the screams on the song too, right?
I'm pretty sure because she was in Drown the City.
Yeah, that's right.
As the front woman, she's doing the cleans, and I think you're right. I think she's doing some backup screams as well.
But yeah,
and she has a guitar, dude.
Yes.
Fuck yeah. Who does that nowadays? Not many.
Fuck yeah, dude. I love how versatile she is, and then also that she's making herself known and being unique about it and not trying to copy Buka. I love that she's coming into her own with this band and making it what it is, because it sounds great, and I love what these guys are doing so far. So that's the end of the list. That was number 20. So we're gonna finish off on a high note. But this begs the question: who is your favorite? I know, like you said before, you haven't listened to all of it, but of what you have, what are you kind of interested in?
I will always be a Make Them Suffer fan, and this is one of the best tracks that they've released in a long time, in my opinion. And so that's my pick for the day. I really love the direction that they are heading in, which I can't even say, like, it's not a new direction, but they're like really refining their sound.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me excited because, like, to your point before with Acacia Strain, I do like, as much as I like to see bands evolve, I do like when they have that sound, but then they just tweak it from album to album. Because like you said, you don't have to change it every single time. And Acacia Strain is a perfect example. And I think Make Them Suffer is too, even though they've already made their change like from a while ago. I would say like the turning point would be Worlds Apart, which I love that album. But anyway, I love Ghost of Me. That is a great track. And I can't wait to hear what else those guys have for us. I love the new Traitors. And,
hell yeah.
And I just love, and I'm getting more and more into Traitors with every single single that they've released. I know I've said this before. I was not a big fan of them like with their earlier work, but I've really come around to Traitors, and especially like hearing Tyler and talk about just like his philosophies and stuff like that. And so I've been a big Traitors fan lately. But what I'm excited to jam the Tarantula, Florida. I really like what they're doing. The depths of Baseu, I think. That's really sick. I'm really excited for them. Boundaries, of course. Humanity's Last Breath and The Chamber, Jim Jones. Those are all up there for me. I will say, and maybe it's only because I listened to it once, but I was not impressed with the new Thy Art single. It's good, but it really didn't do anything for me. I'm
in the same boat because I do love the band.
That pains me.
I do love the band. Do I think a lot of their stuff sounds the same, even after I just talked about the ACACIA strain. Yes, I just didn't get a wow factor from this single. So I'll hold my judgment until the whole album comes out. But I was just like,
Agreed.
this kind of seems like a B-side from the last project.
And it didn't even give me like that like Thy Art feel. Like it is a Thy Art track, but I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it because I'm excited that they're back and doing things. And I really like the track that they put out on the Aggression Sessions. But this one, I don't know. We won't get into it. Like you said, I like how you phrased it. We'll leave it to when the album comes out, and any other singles. Hopefully this is just like, you know, I wouldn't even say a throwaway track because it's the lead single. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Lots of really great shit that came out today. But let's get into talking about the featured band. Which,
yes, sir.
Dude, heavy hitter this week. Who we talk about there, friend?
Well, it's I love the band name because it's a good way to close out the podcast. We are talking about ENDER. The lineup is Mark on bass, Casey on guitar, Sal on guitar, Joe on vocals, and Danny on drums. A little bit about their bio. ENDER formed in 2009, released the first EP, This Is Revenge, via Eulogy Records in 2010. Even though the band stopped touring around 2013, they remained active by releasing music and playing shows every now and then. After a 6-year hiatus from ENDER, Joe returned to the band in 2022. The band is now becoming more active, which we love because we are fans of this single. For sure. The band in general, we're fans of just right out the gates from the single. A little bit more about their bio. Eno has 0 plans to return to touring, but intends on being active around New Jersey and New York City while releasing more music. So if you're in those areas, check out ENDER for sure. A little bit about the track. Like I said, Innocence Lost via vocalist Joe. So they touch on a sensitive subject, but it's one that needs to be talked about.
Absolutely.
He says America is home to more than 42 million cases of child sexual assault. Studies show that 2% of all children between the ages of 12 and 17 have been sexually abused. 89% of child molesters are male. 30% of all sexual abuse comes from a family member. Girls are 2 to 3 times more likely to be abused sexually than boys. Children with disabilities are 3% more susceptible to sexual assault. 40% of sexual assault abusers have gone back to prison for sexual assault within the first year of release. That's not good. There are almost 500,000 predators online every day. Then he goes on to say, this is Innocence Lost. Child molesters aren't scared anymore. Make them scared. Make them suffer too. It's inexcusable. And unfortunately, internet has pretty much just given them more of a opportunity to child molesters. So it's a scary thought for sure, especially now that kids are more involved with social media and stuff. We got to protect the kids. So this is a poignant message to get out there. And I love that he listed all these stats. It just shows that he cares. He cares about the subject matter. So Arie, give us a little notes about the song itself. You dive a little bit into what the lyrics are about, but also the music.
Yeah, dude. Starting off just as like a blanket for the song in its entirety. It's unapologetically heavy as fuck, both sonically and lyrically. We've talked a lot on this show about tough subject matter, but this one is like universally agreed upon. Like, you just don't mess with kids. Nope. End of story. Just there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's period. The kids are kids. It's crazy. So I guess what I'm getting at is, it's tough to talk about for sure, but it does need to be talked about. So with the track itself though, dude, come on with that fucking, I said opening curb stomp a sound. It just fucking sets the tone for the rest of the track. There's some really sick and creepy ambient noises mixed with those whisper vox that just give you enough time to breathe before smothering you by the rest of the onslaught of the track. Like that, and that's a constant throughout the whole track. So there's a lot of ebbs and flows to it. which is super cool. We're going to kind of we don't do this a lot, but maybe we're going to start to do this a little bit more, but we're going to try to dive into the lyrics a little bit more. Yeah. I know we kind of did that with Draconian Rain a little bit, but I think that those often get overlooked, maybe just because like we don't know what they're saying all the time. But Joe, his like pronunciation, like you fucking know what he's saying. Like you can just feel that this is a subject matter that he needs to like get to the masses there. And to that point, Joe belts out, "You'll feel the fury," and that's like the best way to describe this track. Like lots of open chugging, rhythm section will have you spitting your fucking teeth out. Joe's got like this no bullshit vocal style. The rhythm section, like I said, just amazing. Bass drops galore, dissonant chords, guitar bends, harmonics, everything you would want in a track. The part that really stood out to me throughout the whole thing, between 207 and 222-ish, feels like it's about to be a real-life slasher flick, dude. The uneasiness of the underlying track makes me think of the shower scene in Psycho, mixed with Joe screaming, "Feel the pain of the blade as it rips you limb from limb," on top of pummeling musicianship from the rest of the band. Both powerful and fucking terrifying, dude. And then the other thing that sometimes we don't talk about either is the album art that accompanies, in this case, single art. But it kind of adds a whole nother layer if you listen to the track while staring at the album art, because like the art itself is a child's dirty face with flames reflecting in their eyes. And it just like, I don't know, like I could never imagine what someone is thinking before they do unspeakable things to these poor kids. But like this track, like they said, will make any child molester scared. It's fucking unforgiving, dude. And again, it's really tough subject matter, but it needs to be talked about.
Yeah, man. I love just the emotions that he put into this. You can just tell that he cares, that the whole band cares. And it's brutal as fuck.
Yeah.
As it should be. Like I think it's anger directed in the right direction. And yeah, we love the track overall, like the message, the music. Kudos to you guys for touching serious subject matter. You know, sometimes metal bands just kind of write about fantasy, but this is about real life stuff, which is real. It is happening and it needs to stop. And hopefully the message gets out there and more people learn about these stats and that, you know, try to be proactive about it. Moving on, though, to kind of lift the spirit of the show just a little bit, we are going to talk about what they're drinking, which we ask every band that we feature here on Brewtal, just to kind of pair with the music. So today, Mark, he is a fan of Canehead High. I have not heard of these guys before, but I am willing to check those out, or that out, I should say. Next up, we have Casey. He is a fan of stirred rum cocktails and Von Trapp Kolsch. Love to see the diversity here. Sal, he said he is a fan of Kirkland's Best, Jack and Coke. Joe, he is a fan of original Arizona iced tea. He doesn't drink much alcohol, but we love the honesty, dude. We ask bands on this podcast, even the ones that don't drink, like give us a coffee or tea that you love. So thank you for answering. After that, we have Danny. He is a fan of Malibu and Coke and Mango White Claw. That is what's up.
Hell yeah.
Last but not least, they had to include a shameless self-promotion, which we love. Thank you for bringing this to light. Mark, the bassist of Ender, has his own brewery in Bloomfield, New Jersey. Hell yeah. It's called Veritage. That's Varitage. Brewworks, I should say. Which is opening up this summer. Hell yeah. So please be sure to check that out. It's at Veritage Beer. We got to give you all a follow. So first of all, we're going to follow you for sure. We'll get that message out there. After that, we also asked these bands what they're jamming. And they have a great list, and it's a very diverse list. First two picks are from Mark. He chose The Young Man's Game from Fleet Foxes. And then Mount Crushmore from the band Lettuce. I've seen them live. They're a great like jazz infused like jam band. It's a great time all around. After that, we have Casey's picks for 3 and 4, which is Rot with the Wicked from Rock Bottom, and then Neurotic from 100th. Hell yeah, dude. Love 100th.
It's a good song, yeah.
After that, we have Sal's picks for 5 and 6. We have Hellions from Fit for an Autopsy, and then Mockingbird and the Crow from Hardy. After that, we have Joe's picks, which is Trench, the song Trench from the band Gridiron, and then Face Ripped Off from Sanguis Sugarbog. Hell yeah. After that, last but not least, for 9 and 10, we have Danny's picks. He chose Godhead from Veil Maya, and then Lifeless Lemonade from He Is Legend. We always love the diversity of tracks because you never know what a metalhead is listening to, and it's not always metal. So that's what's up. Thank you for sharing that. Arie, if you don't mind, let the people know how to get in touch with the band, and make sure you follow that brewery, by the way.
Yeah, to piggyback off the brewery, Mark, if you're looking to do a Brewtal collab beer, dude, we've been itching to do one, so let us know because that's really fucking cool. And whenever we're up that way, would love to check out what you got going on. Mm-hmm. Super cool. And congrats in advance for opening up. That's a huge feat in itself. So yeah, go check out Veritage Beer, but also of course check out ENDER. And you can follow the boys all over social medias with the handle ENDER Metal NJ. That's all one word. So we're talking Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, etc. Stay up to date on any upcoming releases for music and shows. We'll put their link tree in the bio because that's always the easiest way to do it. But yeah, especially if you're in the New Jersey and New York area, ENDER is gonna fuck you up for sure. So let's give you a little bit of taste with Innocence Lost. Let's spin that shit. ENDER, fuck yeah.
What you say as the embers raise, tell me, can you still see your little face? Blood for blood, blood for eye. Let me show you where you turn. This will break quick. The biggest cause cannot be fixed. There's a feeling that will slaughter. Motherfucker, that was someone's tired. How could you not feel sorry? Feel the fury. How could you not feel sorry? You will feel the fury. As the embers raise, tell me, can you still see your little face? Blood for blood, blood for eye. Let me show you where you turn. You no longer fulfill. Force this power of my flesh enters ways. What's that again? I'm sure this was not what you planned in the age. Imagine the dark. Innocence lost. To the pain, to the blade as it rips you away from me. I thought I made it clear to stay away. The cold steel now pressed against your ribs.